Good afternoon. I'm Kathleen McKinney Franks, Chairperson, Target 4, the Arts. The arts, yes, it does make life eminently worth living. The arts in all its varied forms improves the quality of life and living for all in excellence. Omicron Lambda Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is implementing international program Target 4, the arts. We are implementing it with enthusiasm while exemplifying excellence through sustainable service. The artsy girls of OLQ have accepted the challenge to showcase talent in the visual and performing arts, to celebrate the contributions of African American artists, and to highlight the arts and artworks of the Harlem Renaissance and the Black arts movement. We are so happy you have joined us for this, the Arts on a Sunday Afternoon, Black History Edition. Today's virtual theater experience will feature a reading of excerpts from the Tony Award-winning play For Colored Girls Who Considered Suicide When the Rainbow is Enough by Ntozake Shange. We will begin this afternoon with a welcome by Karen Dillon Francis, Omicron Lambda Omega Chapter's president. Then Kia Moffitt, OLQ's technology chairperson and co-chair of Target 4, will introduce our partners for this afternoon's collaboration, No Dream Deferred NOLA Theater Company. We will then have For Colored Girls Who Considered Suicide When the Rainbow is Enough, virtual theater experience. Following the virtual theater experience, Marjorie Parker, OLQ Chapter Vice President and Programs Chairperson, will facilitate a question and answer period with today's cast, and Lauren Thomas, Founder and Creative Director of No Dream Deferred NOLA, sparking conversation and inspiring personal reflection. Thank you for coming and enjoy the afternoon.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you so much for joining Alpha Kappa Alpha Omicron Lambda Omega chapter for our virtual theater experience, our Celebrating the Arts on a Sunday Afternoon. Sit back and enjoy our For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Isn't Enough. Thank you so much for joining us.
No Dream Deferred NOLA started off as a conversation between India Mack and myself. We were talking about how do we negotiate our careers as theater makers while being mothers, while being Black mothers. And we envisioned a space where people just like us, Black folk, Indigenous folk, other people of color, LGBTQ plus IA, non-English speaking folk could make theater and tell stories that were authentic to them in their lives, and we could offer them that space in a way that centers their narrative. Over the years, and it's been 3 years, we have remained true to that mission and to our vision of creating a legacy of other artists creating that space for more and more generations of artists. In New Orleans, a city that is predominantly Black, it has become increasingly hard for us to find the physical space to do this work. This is where you can come in and help support this vision and this mission. We are seeking a space to call our own. Real equity starts when members of historically marginalized communities have ownership over ideas, resources, and yes, spaces. So we're asking everyone to dig deep, to find it within themselves, to connect with whatever part of our mission and vision resonates with you, and to help No Dream Deferred continue our work in our very own space. You can visit the website below to make your donation today. You can become a recurring giver, and you can help inspire the next generation of dreamers and makers. Thank you.
No Dream Deferred is a community-anchored theater production company We prioritize culturally relevant theater and the work of historically marginalized playwrights for our New Orleans audience.
We recognize the systemic nature of cultural marginalization in the arts, and therefore, we fight.
We fight to create, and to create as often as we please.
So that our stories are told and our dreams are never deferred.
No Dream Deferred strives to be an artistic home for theater makers of color in New Orleans.
A place where our stories are authentically realized and wonderfully experienced.
Dark phrases of womanhood, of never having been a girl. Half notes scattered without rhythm, no tune. Distraught laughter falling over a Black girl's shoulder. It's funny. It's hysterical. The melodylessness of her dance. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell a soul. She's dancing on bare cans and shingles. This must be a spook house. Another song with no singers. Lyrics, no voices, and interrupted solos, unseen performances. Are we ghouls? Children of horror? A joke? Don't tell nobody. Don't tell a soul. Are we animals? Have we gone crazy? I can't hear anything but maddening screams and the soft strains of death. And you promised me. You promised me. Somebody, anybody, sing a Black girl song. Bring her out to know herself, to know you, but sing her rhythms. Caring, struggling, hard times, sing her song of life. She's been dead so long, closed in the silence so long, she doesn't know the sound of her own voice. Her infinite beauty. She's half notes scattered without rhythm, no tune. Sing her sighs. Sing the song of her possibilities. Sing a righteous gospel song. Let her be born. Let her be born and handled warmly. I'm outside Chicago.
I'm outside Detroit. I'm outside Houston.
I'm outside Baltimore.
I'm outside of San Francisco.
I'm outside of Manhattan.
And this is for the colored girls who have considered suicide, but moved to the ends of their rainbows.
Mama, little baby like shortening, shortening. Mama, little baby like shortening bread. Mama, little baby like shortening, shortening. Mama, little baby like shortening bread.
Little Sally Walker sitting in a saucer. Rise, Sally, rise. Wipe your weeping eyes. Put your hand on your hip. Let your backbone slip. Ooh, shake it to the east. Shake it to the west. Shake it to the one that you like the best.
You're it. It was graduation night, and I was the only virgin in the crowd. Bobby Mills,
Martin, Jerome, and Sammy Yates, Eddie Jones, and Randy, all cousins, all the prettiest niggas in this factory town, carried me out with them in a deep black Buick, smelling of Thunderbird and ladies in heat. We rambled from Camden to Mount Holly, laughing at the afternoon speeches and dangling our tassels from the rearview mirror, climbing different sort of project stairs, moving towards snapping beer cans and get it. Ah, that's the way you do it, mama. All Mercer County graduated the same night. Cosmetology, secretarial, pre-college, auto shop, and business. All us moving from mama to whatever was out there. That night, we raced a big old truck from the barbecue stand trying to tell him about the party at Jackie's, where folks graduated last year was waiting to hit it with us. I got drunk and I couldn't figure out whose hand was on my thigh, but it didn't matter. Because these cousins, Martin, Eddie, Sammy, Jerome, and Bobby, was my sweethearts alternately since the 7th grade. And everybody knew I always started crying if somebody actually tried to take advantage of me. At Jackie's, Yolanda Mason was sticking her mouth all out while we tumbled out the Buick. Eddie Jones was her licking stick. But I knew how to dance. It got so hot, Vincent Ramos puked all in the punch, and Harley jumped in Tico's face because he was leaving for the Navy in the morning, had to kick ass so we'd all remember how bad he was. Seemed like Sheila and Marguerite was afraid to get their hair turning back, so they laid up against the wall looking almost sexy. Didn't want to sweat, but me and my fellas, we was dancing. Since 1963, I'd won all kind of contests with the cousins at the Police Athletic League dances. All Mercer County knew. Any kid of Martin Yates could turn somersaults before Smokey Robinson could get a woman excited. We danced, doing nasty old tricks.
Sorry.
Doing nasty old tricks I'd been thinking since May, because graduation night had to be hot. And I was the only virgin, so I had to make like my hips was into some business. That way, everybody thought whoever was getting it was an older man. Couldn't run the streets with youngsters. Martin slipped his leg around my thigh. The Dells bumped, stay. Up and down the new Carver homes. We was grown. We was finally grown. Yolanda all of a sudden went crazy, went over to Eddie, cussing and carrying on, tearing his skin with her nails. The cousin tried to talk sense to her, tried to hold her arms. Listen, bitch, Sammy went on. Bobby whispered, I should go with him before they get to cutting, before the police arrive. We teetered silently through the parking lot. No, we don't know nothing about no party. Bobby started looking at me. Yeah. He started looking at me real strange, like I was a woman or something. Started talking real soft in the back seat of that old Buick. Wow. By daybreak, I couldn't stop grinning.
You gave it up in the back of a Buick?
Yeah, and honey, it was wonderful.
We used to do it all up in the dark in the corners.
With some nigga sweating all over you?
It was good.
I never did like to grind.
What other kind of dances are there? We gotta dance to keep from crying.
We gotta dance to keep from dying.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Come on. Hold your head like it was a ruby sapphire. I'm a poet who writes in English. Come to share the worlds with you. Comes to share our worlds with you. We come here to be dancing. To be dancing. To be dancing. Baya.
A friend is hard to press charges against.
If you know him, you must have wanted it.
A misunderstanding.
You know, these things happen.
Are you sure you didn't suggest?
Had you been drinking?
A rapist is always to be a stranger, to be legitimate, someone you never saw, a man with obvious problems.
Pinups attached to the inside of his lapels.
Ticket stubs for porno flicks in his pocket.
A little dick.
Or a strong mother.
Or just a brutal virgin.
But if you've been seen in public with him, danced one dance, kissed him goodbye lightly.
With closed mouth.
Pressing charges will be as hard as keeping your legs closed while 5 fools try to run a train on you.
These men friend of ours who smile nice, stay employed, and take us to dinner.
Lock the door behind you.
With fist and face to fuck.
Who make elaborate Mediterranean dinners and let the art ensemble carry all ethical burdens while they invite a couple of friends over to have you all suffering from latent rapist bravado. And we are left with the scars.
Being betrayed by men who know us.
And expect, like the stranger we always thought was coming,
that we will submit.
We must have known.
Women relinquish all personal rights in the presence of a man who apparently could be considered a rapist.
And is no less worthy of being beat within an inch of his life, being publicly ridiculed, having 2 fish shoved up his ass.
Than the stranger we always thought he would be.
Who never showed up.
Because it turns out the nature of rape has changed.
We can now meet them in circles we frequent for companionship.
You see them in the coffee house?
With someone else we know.
We even had them over for dinner and get raped in our own houses by invitation. A friend.
Tubes, tables, whitewashed windows, grime from age wiped over ones, legs spread, anxious, eyes crawling up on me, eyes rolling in my thighs, metal horses gnawing my womb, dead mice fall from my mouth. I really didn't mean to. I really didn't think I could. Just one day, get off of me with all of this blood. Bones shattered like soft cream cones. I couldn't have people looking at me pregnant. I couldn't have my friends see this dying dangling between my legs, and I didn't say a thing. Not a sigh or a fast scream to get those eyes off of me. Get them steel rods out of me. This hurts me. And nobody came because nobody knew. Once I was pregnant, ashamed of myself,
The library was right down from the trolley tracks, crossed the street from the laundromat, through the big shining floors and granite pillars old St. Louis is famous for. I found Toussaint, but not 2 months of Cajun Katie, Pippi Longstocking, Christopher Robin, Eddie Haywood, and a Pooh Bear in the children's room. Only Pioneer girls and Magic Rabbits and big city white boys. I knew I wasn't supposed to, but I ran into the adult reading room and came across Toussaint, my first Black man. I never counted George Washington Carver because I didn't like peanuts. Still, Toussaint was a Black man, a Negro, like my mom say, who refused to be a slave, and he spoke French and didn't let no white man tell him nothing. Not Napoleon, not Maximilian, not Robespierre. Toussaint L'Ouverture was the beginning of reality for me. In the summer contest for colored children who can read 15 books in 3 weeks, I won and raved about Toussaint L'Ouverture. At the afternoon ceremony, was disqualified because Toussaint belonged in the adult reading room. And I cried. And I carried dead Toussaint home in the book. And he was dead and living to me. Because Toussaint and them, they held the citadel against the French with the spirits of old Africans from out of the ground. Toussaint led them through an army of zombies, walking cannonballs, shooting spirits to free Haiti, and they wasn't slaves no more. Toussaint L'Ouverture became my secret love at the age of 8. I entertained him in my bedroom with a flashlight under my covers. Way into the night, we discussed strategies, how to remove white girls from my hopscotch games. Toussaint was laying in bed with me next to Raggedy Ann the night I decided to run away from my integrated home, integrated street, integrated school. 1955 was not a good year for little Black girls. Toussaint said, let's go to Haiti. I said, all right, and packed some very important things in a brown paper bag, and I wouldn't have to come back. Then Toussaint and I took the hood of my streetcar to the river. Last stop, only 15 cents, because there wasn't nobody could see Toussaint except me. And we walked all the way down through North St. Louis, where the French settlers used to live in tiny brick homes, all huddled together, with barely missing windows and shingles uneven, with colored kids playing and women on the low porches sipping beer. I could talk to Toussaint down by the river. Like this was where we was gonna stow away on a boat for New Orleans and catch a whole Creole fish right for Port-au-Prince. And we was just gonna read and talk all the time and eat fried bananas. We was just gonna walk in and skipping past old drunk men. When this old young boy jumped up at me saying, hey girl, you better come over here and talk to me. Well, I turned to Toussaint, who was furious, and I shouted, you silly old boy, you better leave me alone or Toussaint gonna get your ass. The silly old boy came around the corner laughing all in my face. Sure must be somebody know my name so quick. I was disgusted. I wanted to get on and get to Haiti without some tacky old boy bothering me. Still, he kept standing there, kicking milk cartons and bits of brick, trying to get all in my business. I mumbled to L'Ouverture, what should I do? Finally, I asked the silly old boy, well, who are you? He said, my name Toussaint Jones. Well, I looked right at him, those skidded up corduroy pants and striped shirt with holes in both elbows and a new scab over his left eye. And I said, what's your name again? He said, I'm Toussaint Jones. Wow. I'm on my way to see Toussaint L'Ouverture in Haiti. Are you any kin to him? He don't take no stuff from no white folks. And they got a country all they own. And they ain't no slaves. That little boy squinting his face all up. Said, look at here, girl. I'm Toussaint Jones. And I'm right here looking at you. And I don't take no stuff from no white folks. You don't see none around here, do you? And he sort of pushed out his chest. Then he said, come on, let's go on down to the docks and look at the boats. And I was real puzzled going down to them docks, my paper bag and my books. I felt Toussaint L'Ouverture sort of leave me, and I was sad. Till I realized Toussaint Jones wasn't too different from Toussaint L'Ouverture, except the old one was in Haiti, and this one with me speaking English and eating apples. Yeah, Toussaint Jones was all right with me. No telling what all spirits we could move down by the river. St. Louis, 1955.
Three of us like a pyramid. 3 friends.
One laugh.
One music.
1 flowered shawl knotted on each neck.
We all saw him at the same time.
And he saw us. I felt a quick thump in each of us.
Didn't know what to do.
We all wanted
what was coming
We
our
all
way.
wanted what was coming our way.
So we split, but he found one and she loved him.
The other 2 were tickled.
And spurned his advances when the one he loved was somewhere else.
He would come to her saying, your friends love you very much. I've tried. They keep asking, where are you?
She smiled, wondering how long her friends would hold out. He was what they were looking for. He bided his time. He waited till romance waned. The 3 of us made up stories about used to, could have been nice.
The season was dry.
No men.
No quickies.
Not one dance or eyes unrelenting.
One day after another, except for the one he loved.
He appeared irregularly, expecting graciousness no matter what. She cut fresh strawberries. Her friends called less frequently, went on hunts for passing fancies. She couldn't figure out what was happening. Then the rose she left by his pillow, she found on her friend's desk. And there was nothing to say.
She said,
I want to tell you, he's been after me all the time. Says he's free and can explain. What's happening with you is nothing to me. And I don't want to hurt you, but you need to know. I need someone now. And you know how wonderful he is.
I couldn't speak or cry. We hugged and went to where he was with another woman.
He said goodbye to one.
Told the other he would call.
He smiled a lot.
She held her head on our lap.
The lap of her sister soaking up tears.
Each understanding how much love between them. Love like sisters.
Like sisters.
Like sisters.
Ever since I realized there was someone called a colored girl, an evil woman, a bitch or a nag, I've been trying not to be that and leave bitterness in someone else's cup. Come to somebody to love me without deep and nasty smelling scar from loud being left screaming in a street full of lunatics, whispering, slut, bitch, nigga. You can have all that. Get out of all that. I didn't have any of that for you. I brought you what joy I found, and I found joy. Honest fingers round my face with dead rappers on 78s from Compton or live musicians on $5 LPs from Chicago where I've never been. And I love Tupac and Ice Cube, especially because I can make the music loud enough. So there was no me but dance. And when I can dance like that, there's nothing that can hurt me. But I get tired. And I have to come off the floor. And then there's that woman who hurt you, who you left 3 or 4 times and just went back. After you put my heart in the bottom of your shoe, you just walk back to her you hurt. And I didn't have nothing. So I went to where somebody had something for me. But he wasn't you. And I was on my way back from her house in the bottom of your shoe. So this is not a love poem, because there are no memorial albums available. And even Snoop Dogg wanted desperately to be a pimp, and I won't be able to see J. Cole for months. So this is a requiem for myself. Because I have died in a real way. Not with aqua coffins and Cadillacs I used to joke about when I was messing around. But a real dead loving is here for you now, because I don't know anymore how to avoid my own face wet with my tears. Because I had convinced myself that colored girls had no right to sorrow. And I lived and loved that way and kept sorrow on the curb, allegedly for you. But I know I did it for myself. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand being sorry and colored at the same time. It's so redundant in this modern world.
We deal with emotions too much. So why don't we just go on ahead and be white then? And make everything dry and abstract with no rhythm and no reeling for sheer sensual pleasure. Yes, let's go on and be white. We're right in the middle of it. No use holding out, holding on to ourselves. Let's think our way out of feeling. Let's abstract ourselves, some families, and maybe tonight I'll find a way to make myself come tonight without you. No fingers or other objects, just thought, which isn't spiritual evolution because it's empty. And godliness is plenty. It's ripe and fertile. Thinking won't do me a bit of good tonight. I need to be loved. And I haven't the audacity to say, where are you? Because I don't know who to say it to.
I've lost it. Touch with reality. I don't know who is doing it. I thought I was, but I was so stupid I was able to be hurt. And that's not real. Not anymore. I should be immune. But if I'm still alive, and that's what I was discussing, how am I still alive in my dependency on other living beings for love? I survive on intimacy and tomorrow. That's all I've got going. And the music was like smack, and you knew about that and still refused. My dad was not enough, and it was all I had. But being alive and being a woman and being colored is a metaphysical dilemma I haven't conquered yet. Do you see the point? My spirit is too ancient to understand the separation of my soul and gender. My love is too delicate to have thrown back on my face. All right. My love is too beautiful to have thrown back on my face.
My love is too sanctified to have thrown back on my face.
My love is too magic to have thrown back on my face.
My love is too Saturday night to have thrown back in my face.
My love is too complicated to have thrown back on my face.
My love is too music to have thrown back on my face. Somebody almost walked off with all of my stuff. Not my poems or a dance I gave up on the street, but somebody almost walked off with all of my stuff like a kleptomaniac working hard and forgetting while stealing. This is mine. This ain't your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why don't you put me back and let me hang out in my own stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody almost walked off with all of my stuff and didn't care enough to send a note home saying I was too late for my solo conversation or 2 sizes too small for my own tacky shirts. What can anybody do with something of no value on an open market? Did you get a dime for my things?
Hey man, where are you going with all of my stuff? This is a woman's trip and I need my stuff. Daddy, I got my mainline number from my own shit now. Won't you put me back on and let me play this duet with my little silver nose ring?
Honest to God, somebody almost run off with all of my stuff. And I didn't bring anything but the kick and sway of it. The perfect ass for my man, and none of it is theirs. This is mine. April's own things. That's her name. Now give me my stuff. I see you hiding my laugh and how I sit with my legs open sometimes to give my crotch some sunlight. And there goes my love and my toes, chewed up fingernails. Nigga with the curls in your hair, Mr. Louisiana Hot Link, I want my stuff back.
My rhymes and my voice, open my mouth and let me talk you out of throwing my shit in the sewer. This is some delicate leg and a whimsical kiss. And I gotta have to give to my choice without you running off with all of my shit. You can't have me unless I give me away. And I was doing all that till you run off on a good thing.
And who is this you left me with? Some simple bitch with a bad weave. I want my things. I want my arm with the birthmark. I want my leg with the flea bite. I want my callous feet and my quick language back in my mouth. Fried plantains, pineapple pear juice, soon raw, and Joseph and Jules. I want my own things, how I lived them. And give me my memories, how I was when I was there. You can't have them or do nothing with them. Stealing my shit from me, don't make it yours, makes it stolen.
Somebody almost run off with all of my stuff. And I was standing there looking at myself the whole time. And it wasn't a spirit that took my stuff was a man whose ego walked around like Rodin's shadow, was a man faster than my innocence, was a lover I made too much room for, almost run off with all my stuff. And I didn't know I'd give it up so quick. And the one running with it don't know he got it. And I'm shouting, this is mine. And he don't know he got it.
My stuff is the anonymous ripped off treasure of the year. Did you know somebody almost got away with me? Me in a plastic bag under their arm. Me dangling on a string of a personal carelessness I'm splattered with, mud and city rain. And no, I didn't get a chance to take a douche.
Hey man, this is not your prerogative. I got to have meat in my pocket to get around like a good woman should and make the poem in my pot or the chicken in my dance. What I gotta do, I gotta get my stuff to do it too.
Why don't you find your own things and leave this package of me for my destiny? What you gotta get from me, huh? I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Around 5 o'clock in the winter when the sky is blue-red and Dew City is getting pressed. If it's really my stuff, you gotta give it to me if you really want it. I'm the only one that can handle it.
That nigga will be back tomorrow saying, I'm sorry.
Get this. Last week, my old man came in saying, I don't know how she got your number, baby. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. This one's it. Oh, baby, you know I was high. I'm sorry.
I'm only human, and inadequacy is what makes us human. And if we was perfect, we wouldn't have nothing to strive for. So you might as well go on and forgive me, pretty baby, because I'm sorry.
Shut up, bitch. I told you I was sorry.
No. This one's it. I do you like I do you, because I thought you would take it. Now I'm sorry.
Now, I know that you know I love you, but I ain't ever gonna love you like you want me to love you. I'm sorry.
One thing I don't need is any more apologies. I got sorry greeting me at my front door. You can keep yours. I don't know what to do with them. They don't open doors or bring the sun back. They don't make me happy or get a morning paper. Didn't nobody stop using my tears to wash cars because of sorry? I am simply tired of collecting. I didn't know I was so important to you. I'm going to have to throw away some. No, I can't get to the clothes in my closet for all the sorries. I'm going to take a sign to the door, leave a message by the phone. If you called to say you sorry, call somebody else because I don't use them anymore. I let sorry, didn't mean to. How could I know about that? And take a walk down a dark and musty street in Brooklyn. I'm going to do exactly what I want to, and I won't be sorry for none of it. You let a sorry soothe your soul, and I'm going to soothe mine. You were always inconsistent, doing something and then being sorry, beating my heart to death, talking about you sorry. Well, I'm not going to call. I'm not going to be nice. I will not raise my voice and scream and holler and break things and race the engine and tell all your secrets about you to your face. And I will list every detail of every one of my wonderful lovers and their ways. I will play Drake loud, and I won't be sorry for none of it. I loved you on purpose. I was open on purpose. I still crave vulnerability and close talk. And I'm not even sorry about you being sorry. So you can carry all the guilt and grime you wanna. Just don't give it to me. I can't use another sorry. You know what? Next time, you should admit you're mean, you're low down, trifling, and no count straight out instead of being sorry all the time. Just enjoy being yourself.
Must be that goddamn raghead from the bodega. Bo must have beat her to death when she told him. She still got a scar under her right tit where he cut her up. Still, Crystal went right on and had the baby. So now Bo really had two children. A little girl, Naomi Kenya, and a boy, Kwame Bo Willie Brown. And there was no heir. How in the hell did he get in this mess anyway? He went and told Crystal that Bo was spending all of his money on them bartending bitches down at the merry-go-round cafe. Bo sat right up in the bed, wrapped up in the sheets, looking like he was John the Baptist or a baby with stubble and nuts. And now he had to get all that shit out of Crystal's mind. Oh, damn. The pipe was burning up his fingers. His fingers was turning black just like his teeth. And now his hand was burnt. And he dropped the damn pipe and he couldn't get out of bed without cutting his feet. He had to let her come get him. Now, the Crystal had gone and got a court order saying that Bo Willie Brown had no access to his children. If he showed his face, he was subject to arrest. Shit. She'd been sorry and with his ass asking him to marry her since she was 14. and he was 22. She want to throw him out because he say he'll marry her. And she bust out laughing, hollering. What you want to marry me for now? So I can support you? You want to come and sit and lay when they lock your ass behind bars? Because they going to lock you up, you goddamn lunatic. They going to come. And I'm not going to have a thing to do with it. No, I wouldn't marry your pitiful black ass for nothing. And she went to bed. Next day, Bo Willie came in, blasted, and got to swinging chairs at Crystal, who couldn't figure out what the hell he was doing. Till they got to shouting about how he was going to marry her and get some veteran benefits, and he could stop driving them spics around while they was trying to kill him for $15, and she could stop having Arab children, and Bo was sweating terrible. Remember the Barca beating on Crystal? He couldn't do it no more. Got the tables and chairs, and he went and got the high chair. And little Kwame was in, and Bo was beating Crystal with the high chair and her son. And some notion got into him to stop, and he ran out. Crystal almost died. And that's when the police wouldn't let Bo nowhere near where she lived, and she'd been telling the kids that their dad tried to kill her. And Kwame, and he just wanted to marry her. That's what he wanted, to marry her and have a family. But the bitch was crazy. And Bo Willie was sitting in his hotel in his drawers, drinking coffee, smoking crack, drinking wine, in the heat of the day, spilling shit all over himself, laughing about how he was going to get Crystal to take him back and let him be the man of the house. And she didn't answer. And he beat on the door. And Crystal and Naomi started crying. And Bo got to shouting again. I wanted to marry her. And was she always going to be a hoe? Or she ain't want no husband? Crystal just kept on screaming, leave us alone! Leave us alone! So Bo broke down the door, and Crystal held the children in front of her. And she picked Kwame off the floor in her arms, and she held Naomi by her shoulders and kept saying, Bo Willie, get out of here. Get out of here. The police is going to come looking for you, fool. You get out of here. You want the children to see you act like a fool again? You want Kwame to have brain damage from you throwing him around? Nigga, get out of here. Get out and don't you show your ass again or I'll kill you. He reached for Naomi. Crystal grabbed the little girl and stared at Bo Willie like he was a leper or something. Don't you touch my children, motherfucker, I'll kill you. Bo Willie jumped back all humble and apologetic. Sorry. I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt them. I want to hold them. I want to hold them and get on my way. Because I don't want to cause you no more trouble. I want to marry you and give you things. What you gonna give, nigga? A broke jaw? Nigga, get out of here. He ignored Crystal's outburst and sat down motioning for Naomi to come to him. She smiled back at her daddy. Crystal felt Naomi giving in, so she held tighter, and Naomi pushed away and ran to her daddy and cried, Daddy, 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 come back, but be nice to Mommy. Mommy loves you. You got to be nice. And he sat on his knee and played with the ribbons, and they counted fingers and toes, and ever so often he looked over at Crystal holding Kwame like a statue. And he said, see, Crystal, I can be a good father. Now you let me be a son. She didn't move, and he coaxed her till she was still hotter, hotter old thing, pretty and strong. Didn't she get right up after that fight they had and go back to work? Bo Willie oozed kindness, and Crystal, who had known so little, let Bo Willie hold Kwame. And as soon as Crystal let the baby out of her arms, Bo Willie jumped up laughing and giggling and hooting and hollering, all right, bitch. All right, you gonna marry me. You gonna marry me. Now, I'm not gonna marry you. I ain't never gonna marry you for nothing. You're gonna be in jail. You're gonna be under the jail for this. Now give me my kids back. And he kicked the screen right out of the window, and held the kids off the sill. You gonna marry me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'll marry you. I'll marry you. I'll marry you, but you gotta bring the kids back in the house. And he looked where the kids were hanging in the fifth store. All the people out there screaming, and he started sweating like he did Baghdad. Say it. Say it to all the neighbors. Say you're gonna marry me. In the window. With Naomi reaching out for me and Kwame screaming, Mommy, 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 from the fifth floor, but I could only whisper. Dropped. I was missing something.
Something so important.
Something promised.
A laying on of hands.
Fingers near my forehead.
Strong.
Oh, moving, making me whole. Sense.
Pure.
All the gods coming into me, laying me open to myself.
I was missing something.
Something promised.
Something free. A laying on of hands.
I know about laying on bodies, laying out a man, bringing him all of my fleshy self and some of my pleasure being taken, full, eager, wet, like I get sometimes. But I was missing something.
A laying on of hands.
Not a man.
Laying on.
Not my mama laying, holding me tight, saying I'm always gonna be her girl. Not a laying on of bosom and womb. A laying on of hands. The holiness of myself released.
I sat up one night walking in a boarding house, screaming, crying. The ghost of another woman who was missing what I was missing. I wanted to jump up out of my bones and be done with myself. Leave me alone and go on in the wind. It was too much. I fell into a numbness to the only tree I could see. Took me up in her branches, held me in the breeze, made me dawn dew, that chill at daybreak. The sun wrapped me up, swinging rose light everywhere. The sun lay over me like a million men. I was cold, I was burning up, a child, and endlessly weaving garments for the moon with my tears. I found God in myself, and I loved her. I loved her fiercely.
I found God in myself and I loved her. I loved her fiercely.
I found God in myself and I loved her. I loved her fiercely.
Found God in myself. And I loved her. I loved her fiercely.
I found God in myself and I loved her. I loved her fiercely.
And this is for colored girls who have considered suicide but are moving to the ends of their own rainbow.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed the performances today. I'm very excited. My name is Marjorie Parker. I'm the first vice president and programs chair for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the Omicron Lambda Omega chapter. We are so happy to have you all here. You all are streaming live with us in multiple platforms. Please, y'all, I don't know about y'all, but those performances were overwhelming and beautiful. If you can at your homes, if you can in the chat, please give these phenomenal actresses another round of applause, everybody. I know we can't be here together, but this was absolutely phenomenal. As I was telling them in the chat, I still have chills. It's just a beautiful, beautiful performance. And I'm so excited to speak to some of the women here today. And I'm so happy to be a part of this in some regard of our chapter, our Black History Month celebration, of course, our Sunday with the arts, with our target for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. We're so excited to have you all here in our virtual theater experience. I think this is one of the first virtual theater experiences I've ever been to, and it was so moving, so riveting. And those stories, although they are now decades old, they just resonate with us now today. And it's just overwhelming. We just really thank you, ladies, so much for being with us here today and being with our chapter and connecting with our chapter again. So I'm very excited. I know Kia, my lovely sorority sister, is running technology, as well as she was an actress for the show. And I'm very excited to see multiple actresses that I know as well that I've seen in the acting community in New Orleans. So we're very excited to have those women here. Of course, if you have any questions, if you want to drop those questions in the chat for any of our actresses, maybe how they prepared, how they were able to discover their characters, the readings, I mean, just the excerpts, they were just phenomenal. So if you all have any questions, I see somebody say, whoo, that was heavy, of course. Yes, we definitely miss theater. And I know Lauren is here, who is the director. She's also one of the awesome people. Hello, Lauren.
Hey, hi.
Hi.
Yay, they did so good.
Lauren, that was phenomenal. Thank you so much for bringing that here for our chapter for Omicron Lambda Omega, our New Orleans, on our New Orleans chapters here of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. We are overwhelmed. We're overjoyed that can go out to the community, even going out to the community in such a vast platform. I'm just going to ask a question just to get it started, Lauren. If you want to give a quick introduction of yourself, of course, we saw the video in the beginning, and we kind of understand your theater and kind of your mission and your purpose. And if you could just give us a little background, and also what made you all think about a virtual theater experience? I know we're in COVID times, but kind of what gave you that out of the box thinking?
Yeah, so I'm the artistic director for No Dream Deferred, which is a local theater company here in New Orleans. It's a local Black theater company.
Yes.
And really our mission, our work is to create a space where our stories are told and told well. And that other artists of color, specifically Black theater artists, have the ability to connect and create as much as they want to. So we are a home and we are a vehicle. We're a mobile home.
Yes.
We want to be a way for artists to move their work forward, and we also want to be nurturing in a space where they can grow and develop. And virtual theater right now is the name of the game, especially during this time. And the real challenge, when Kia, who is a frequent collaborator with us, when Kia Moffitt came and said, what if we collaborated around a reading of For Colored Girls, and we did a virtual performance. The real challenge became, how do we share the movement and the musicality of the choreo poem? So if you were to see it in person, you would see how there's dance and movement and music, and each piece flows into the next piece. How do we do that virtually, right? And so using some really creative thinking, and in partnership with Kia and her amazing ability and talent, not only as an actor but as a graphic artist, we were able to give folks, I believe, a hint of what it would have been like were they to, experience this live. Live on stage. So I just want to say thank you so much to the chapter, and thank you all for inviting us in to your Sunday afternoon in the arts. I think this is an amazing, brilliant idea. And it was an awesome opportunity to work with the amazing actors who I haven't been able to see in a long time on something that Shange's work, no matter when you pick it up again, it resonates.
Yes.
And I think that's the magic of it. She wrote this in the 70s.
Right.
And to this day, I cry when I hear the poem about Bo Willie dropping the children. Or I, smack my lips around the No More Sorries poem, right? Because we don't want no more sorry. We got them greeting us at our front door, right?
The people in the chat were like, it was therapeutic for some people. I think some people were very much like, ooh, I needed this cleansing. I needed to hear these words again. And I needed to kind of get this in my mind. It was beautiful.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. I know the ladies are waiting too, so I'm not going to hog all the time.
Please bring all the ladies on. So, Akia, we can bring everybody in who can be brought in. Hello. How are y'all?
Hello. We're well. How are
you? You got beautiful faces. Oh, the talent. Hello. How are y'all? Okay, so now we have everyone here, let's give another round of applause so we see these beautiful, talented women in their faces. Oh my goodness, y'all. That was beautiful. If I could stand up and y'all would not lose my frame, I would be like standing ovations to everybody here. It was truly phenomenal, truly awesome. I know you all are all working actresses in the New Orleans community. If you don't mind just giving us a quick intro of everybody here so we can at least know a little bit of your background, some of your film experiences, some of your television experiences, of course, some of your theatrical experiences. Whoever would like to get started.
I'll start. Well, I am Lakeisha Glover. What else? What all did you say?
Just give us a little bit of a background about yourself right now, and we'll get to some questions in just a moment.
And y'all might need to mute. You might need to silence your mic if you're not speaking to avoid the feedback.
Again, so my name is Lakeisha Glover. I'm an actress here in New Orleans, but I go wherever the work resides, right, as an actor. It's so hard to talk about yourself, but I will say that I am honored to always work with these talented ladies. There are some fierce actors in this city, and I'm so honored to have worked with you all again, and with No Dream Deferred. So it was great. That's all I have to say.
Awesome. Hello, I am April Louise, and I'll just start with right there where Keisha left off. It's such an honor to work with Lauren, and anybody that she brings in the same space is going to be just a beautiful spirit, a beautiful soul, and the just professional actresses and serious about the mission and vision of No Dream Deferred. So thank you to this chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha for having us. I'm an arts integration coordinator at a charter school here in New Orleans, and a singer and theater maker and creative all around. So yeah, I'm glad to be able to create, and especially with people who have like minds and like hearts. Thank you all for having us, and I really enjoyed it so far.
All right. My name is Samantha Bollier, and I just want to thank my sorors, the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha, for doing this. Marjorie, this was great. Another phenomenal actress who I've worked with before. Thank you all for doing this. This is such an important piece of work. And Lauren and No Dream Deferred, it's just been an absolute pleasure. When Lauren calls, doesn't matter how short a time you have to prepare. It's like we're gonna get together. We're gonna do this, and it's just great. It was great to be a part of this important, timeless work that talks about themes that don't get talked about very openly. And just a little bit about me. I'm an actress here from New Orleans, based here in New Orleans. Spent some time in Los Angeles and Atlanta, but this is home. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you, Sam. Well, my name is Constance Thompson, and I've had the pleasure of working with these ladies in different capacities, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you to this chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha. Oh my goodness, the AKAs. Thank you so much for bringing this to the forefront, to giving us a space. You know, as women, sometimes we forget that these lives that we're living are just only ours, but it's for all of us to really share in community, to lift up all the things that we are struggling with so we could persevere together. So I just want to say thank you. And I'm an actress. I'm originally from Queens, New York, but I've been here in New Orleans for about 16 years. So New Orleans is my second home.
I guess I'll jump in there. Hi, I'm Tanaj. Yeah, and great to see you again, by the way, Marjorie. I was like, I know her from somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but I'm a New Orleans native, and it's funny, Constance brought up Queens. I'm like, Queens is my second home. But yeah, I've been performing in New Orleans, and wherever the work resides, as she said, as Lakeisha said earlier. But I am so grateful that you guys, for whatever reason, decided to do this show and include us, because it, like you said, it speaks to so many women from different backgrounds. It's like, oh, it's so hard that the one thing, not one thing, but something that we can all connect through is through these words of just love and loss and pain, sadly. And I can definitely echo that. Once Lauren sent that email, I was like, I don't even know what she's talking about, but yeah, I'm gonna do it. So that was definitely a good job getting her involved, because I'm sure everyone here is like, no, if Lauren said it's good, we probably can just do it, whatever it is. And it was so worth it. Thank you.
Am I the last one? Oh, hi, I'm Kia. I'm a technology chair of Omicron Lambda Omega and co-chair of the arts. So I really appreciate y'all being here and doing this, because you didn't have to, and I love y'all, and it was fun and funny, and you actually have some questions. I'm also running the tech, so that's why I'm not looking directly at the camera. But there are some questions, so I'm about to bring them up, Marjorie.
All right, so we're going to get started with our questions, and this first one is from our chair of the Arts Committee, actually, Kathleen Franks. And she says to Lauren, how did you select all my favorite parts for this production? How did you know?
Because they're all my favorite parts. Because we share the same face. No, it's so interesting because we wanted to provide some excerpts and shorten it, right? Because the thing about virtual theater that I've been realizing over the course of the pandemic is our attention span is not the same as sitting in a physical space, right?
Yeah.
So we don't want to necessarily be here for 2 hours. But how do we create flow through the story? How do we tell this story in a way where we walk away and feel renewed by it? So I selected pieces that I thought showed the complexity of and the nuance of Black women. There is some pain, right? But there's also joy, and there's also love, and there's also togetherness and sisterhood. So choosing the pieces that spoke to a variety of our experiences, trying to avoid, trauma, but mixing in some joy in there is how I looked when making cuts and edits.
That's awesome. And that's so great that you even brought up the term sisterhood. And of course, in a sorority, we are always talking about sisterhood, but sometimes sisterhood isn't that pretty. And so it's sometimes good to even hear those real voices and to be like, we're sisters through everything. And if it's the collaborative pieces for me. And that's what I think a lot of people resonated with today, even in the, I don't know if y'all can see the Facebook Live while it was going on, but even in that chat, women were just saying, yes, that just spoke to me. And so we just love that that was a piece of it. And the sisterhood is always a part of it as well. That was beautiful. All right. Okay, we have another question. Please share a little bit of the background of this play for our younger viewers or even our newer viewers. We may have some people who just have never seen this piece or seen this play. Of course, it's now a movie as well, from Tyler Perry, with some, cuts and edits. But if y'all could give us a little bit of background, why did y'all choose this piece? And can you give us a little background on it?
Well, Kia can probably speak to that because Kia came to me with this idea for this particular piece. So Kia, why did you want to do this piece?
Okay, so December made 10 years of me being an AK, right? So I think I know a lot about sisterhood, and I have a sister and all this stuff. But when we were thinking about doing things for the arts, Kathleen and I were thinking of something. First, there's a pandemic. I mean, that's first and second and probably third. But we can't do the things we would normally do. And so she was thinking like, why? Well, we need to do something. And I was like, well, what about a play? Because I know No Dream Deferred has done a virtual reading before, and that's the first thing I thought about. But I didn't know if people would be responsive to it that weren't like theater people, quote unquote. But the cool thing about this is that I think everybody in a way is a theater person. They just might not know it. So it's a way to bring theater to people who, some people don't think that theater is for them, or that theater is like out of their reach, or it's too expensive or something, but it's for everybody. And I think that's been forgotten a lot in the years. And when we were thinking of a play, the first thing that popped in my head that was like woman-centered was for colored girls. And when I said it, I kind of didn't think like everybody would be like, great, but everybody was like, great. So I was like, cool. And, like that's basically how it happened. Like this play it makes me cry like every time. It makes me laugh every time, even though I've heard it and I've seen it so many times. It stays with you, like y'all was saying.
Yeah, and it was written by Ntozake Shange in 1976. It consists of several poetic monologues. As you can tell from listening, the language was very poetic. And it's accompanied by dance, music, and Shange actually coined the term choreo poem. So she created that term, which is story and play told through poetry and dance and movement. And the whole story focuses on actually 7 women. In our reading, Kia played Lady in Orange and Lady in Purple. But it's about women who have suffered oppression in a racist and sexist society. There are 20 choreo poems in the play, the full-length play. Today we shared 12. And it's interconnected stories about love and struggle and sisterhood. And it explores, as you heard today, issues around rape and abortion and domestic violence. And the play was actually updated in 2010, which is why you heard things like "I'm gonna keep playing my Drake," and talking about originally the monologue that April did so well. Oh my goodness, about Boy Willie and the domestic abuse and dropping the children. Originally, Boy Willie was suffering from PTSD from Vietnam. And in this version, it was updated to him having served in Baghdad. And so there was several updates that were done in 2010. This play has been on Broadway. Off-Broadway was the second play written by a Black woman to be seen on Broadway after Lorraine Hansberry's Raisin in the Sun. And it was nominated for a Tony Award. And Ntozake, she passed away in 2018. And so she's a mighty, mighty ancestor at this point. But her work continues. Her words continue to resonate and live with us. So in so many ways, she's still here with us.
And this story, I believe, is definitely rooted squarely in the middle of what we should think of when we think of American theater. You know, a lot of times our work gets pushed to the outside of what we think of. It's something that lives in the margins. But to me, this is a major part. What she's talking about is a major part of the American experience because it's a part of Black women's experience. And in so many ways, this country, the story of this country is really about the experience of Black women because we push this country forward in multiple ways, and we have always throughout history. Did I leave anything out, ladies, about the work or about? No, nothing. Okay.
Look, they like you have it all covered, Lauren. They all like y'all. You're definitely the go-to, so you definitely have it covered. Look, she's giving some snaps. I think everybody can get some snaps to Lauren. Great job of pulling these phenomenal actresses together, Lauren. I'm just going to do a last call for any more questions from our viewers in our Facebook Live or in our YouTube. If there are any more questions for our phenomenal actresses and also for our director. If there are any more questions, again, ladies, you all did an excellent job. I know that you all pre-recorded this piece. So how did you feel about the pre-recording? I know a lot of you probably are recording for film right now and submitting to casting directors and stuff like that, but I know there's nothing like actually feeling the people in the audience. So what are y'all's thoughts on that?
Stop streaming if you're streaming back there.
Uh-oh. It's all right, Samantha. We understand that's a virtual world that we are living in. You know, it's okay. All right. So how do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about the world of not seeing people and you all just having to give it your all on the on film?
I love do that because I don't do a whole lot of film. I've done some things, but I haven't done a whole lot. So I love live theater and that immediate response. But like I said, I can't hype these women up enough to be in rooms with them, even virtually. Like we would stop between cuts and be like, okay, all right, hold on. That was too much. That was too much. Or, you know, like continuing to encourage each other or laugh at different parts along the way. So just having each other to, you know, bounce the way things were going off of, and then with Lauren's direction in the middle, like, you know, like pulling things out of us or asking for something different or just refining things is still able to happen on this virtual platform. So although we didn't have rooms full of people, the room was still full with the women that are here and just the things that they bring to the stage virtually or in a space that we're really typically accustomed to. But yeah, it was still cool for me. I love being able to stop and be like, you know what, let's do that again. That's one thing I do like about film. Like, I ain't like that. That was weird.
Like, I like edits.
So, yeah, I like having that benefit of being able to start and stop. So there are some perks to it that are a little bit different from theater that I appreciate.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to answer that one? And it looks like we have another question in the chat as well. You can go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, really quickly, like this is probably one show that you can do in this format because, like April said, like it's so full of us. Like this show is so much about that sisterhood and togetherness. So it's not like you don't need the audience, but it's like if you have each other, and so that kind of puts you through for this, and so that was really helpful to have.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so this will be our final question. I don't think I see any other ones in the chat right now, Kia. But first we have one of our sorority members saying, Alicia Hayes, amazing job. What performances do you all have coming up, and how do you join the virtual theater performances?
What y'all got going on?
I know. I'm reading like, what is well, for myself, I'm producing a project that's been in the works for a while, which I've been blessed to have April a part of. And I have another little web series that I'm a part of. I start filming, I just found word, next month. And virtual theater. Oh, how do you go about becoming virtual theater? That's an interesting question. Maybe somebody else can answer it. It's been, you know, you get a call saying, do you want to do this? And I'm like, okay. But so it's been pretty easy for me, but I don't know. How do you go about doing that? I know we're like, look, we
you
work.
gotta know the theater companies that are
Yes.
still trying to hang on.
Yeah, that's very important. So,
anyone else?
Well, is No Dream Deferred doing anything anytime soon?
Oh yes. Oh yes. So No Dream Deferred, we are in the middle of producing a newly commissioned radio play. Loosely titled, working title 22-2, and we plan on premiering that in May. We also have been invited, our last virtual production, which was One Woman, One Show, an ode to Brianna, which was a collection of stories from Black women artists here in New Orleans, which included the late, great Carol Sutton, as well as the late, great Sherry Marina, two local Black women actors. We're updating it for a special production for Junebug Productions, 41st season. And this time it's One Woman, One Show, in search of our mother's garden. So a special conversation about the ways in which Black women birth ideas, generations, movements, and how we show up for one another. So that's going to be premiering the week before Mother's Day. And we also have a lot of digital programming that we're going to be sharing on our YouTube channel, including an animated story series called Our Stories Matter, because they do indeed matter, which will be asking local elders who are artists to share stories, and they'll share them to animation. And then something that's real near and dear to my heart, long time down the road, but I want to share this with as many Black women as possible. So this seems like the perfect platform to do that.
Definitely. Definitely.
In 2023, we are hoping to launch, and probably will launch, a new play festival. A new play festival that where we will be featuring the work of 6 Black playwrights, brand new plays, because we really want to cultivate a space for Black playwrights to be able to see their work produced and hear their words on stage, performed by professional actors, and get the benefit of professional direction. And so the best way to stay in touch with us and to know what's going on as we continue to build towards that festival, which we're praying and hoping will be a live festival, that COVID-19 will be in a place where people can gather again, is to follow us on social media at NDD NOLA, either on Facebook or Instagram, and also maybe subscribe to our website, where we'll be providing updates for everyone and letting folks know when things are opening. So that's what we got going on. It's a lot.
Awesome. So I'm going to make everyone give you all a final round of applause. We're thanking you all again. Now we have our special friends from No Dream Deferred NOLA. You are now our special friends in Omicron Lambda Omega. So if you have any other performances coming up, we would love to connect with you all again. Thank you again for giving us that opportunity, and we love to provide a space, of course, for our Black sisters, and of course we have our Black business owner here as well. So we really appreciate you all for coming out. And I'll give a few final announcements while we still have a few people left on our live. And I want to just make sure everyone tunes in to our next art on a Sunday afternoon, which will be next Sunday. At 6 p.m., we're actually having a Little Ivy Storytime Black History Month edition, and we'll be reading Trombone Shorty's book, The 5 O'Clock Band, and it'll be read by WWL's own Malik Mingo, who is a phenomenal anchor, very, very personable, a lot of personality, so we're really excited about that. And I just got confirmation that another Arts on a Sunday afternoon, we may be using one of your actresses to be featured, one of my sorority sisters, Ms. Samantha Boulier, who we just got confirmation that we will be featuring her in the upcoming month. And I can't wait to see that interview in March, either March or April. Again, if you have any questions, as you see at the bottom of the screen, you can follow us on our Facebook page and our Instagram page, aka OLQ, on Facebook and Instagram, aka _OLQ. Of course, if you have any questions, please let us know, and we are very excited to have you all. Final round of applause, and that is it for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.